end, and it has to end now. Just earlier this week, there was an attack on one of the staff members here. We will hear from the owner shortly, who will talk more about what has occurred. But we felt it important that the East Harlem and the Central Harlem and the entire Harlem community stand with our Asian American brothers and sisters and let them know that we will not tolerate this injustice. Many of us are aware that when Trump started calling the coronavirus the China virus, that there were significant implications around that. We were very clear that it was important for us to push back against that hate speech. I don't think everyone has been aware of some of the physical consequences that have occurred because of that. Hate crimes have gone down over the last year and have gone up tremendously in the Asian American and Pacific Islander community. 16% of the New York City population is Asian American. We have to, as a general community, stand up and say to our fellow brothers and sisters, we are here with you, we will stand beside you, and we will not allow this racial trauma to continue on any community. As an African American, I can tell you, racial trauma leads to mental health trauma, leads to depression, leads to suicide. There is so much. Senator John Lewis, thank you for coming. There is so much at stake here, and we all must be aware. We can no longer act silent and be quiet as members of our Asian American community continue to be harassed, continue to be attacked verbally and physically right here in the city of New York, the most progressive city in the country. Enough is enough, and we came to stand with our brothers and sisters. I've asked Senator Rex Rodriguez, who is the local assembly member of this area, to say a few words before we hear from Zoe from Multi-Restaurant. Senator Rodriguez.
Thank you, Senator Benjamin and Senator Luke, for bringing us together. The Asian American community has historically been tremendously important for the city of New York. It is the fastest growing minority group, actually, of any group in East Harlem. In the last census, they were over 5%, and I expect that number to be bigger when we get our numbers this year. They are a significant portion of our community. But more importantly, as African Americans and Latinos, we have to stand together when we see violence being perpetrated against any other community group in our neighborhood. The Asian community deserves that solidarity and respect. And I was reminded recently by one of my colleagues, Assemblymember Kim, about the importance of the Asian community in East Harlem. His family comes from a family of groomsmen. He started in East Harlem in the 70s. So that connection between East Harlem and the Asian community is part of the fabric of who we are. So we have to stand up for them when we see some injustice happening. So I'm glad that the senator has stepped up. I'm glad that Reverend Sharpton has said it. As African Americans and people of color, we cannot stand silent. And I'm really proud to support this business in our community who is trying throughout the most difficult of circumstances during this pandemic to survive. And their employees deserve our attention, our safety, and our protection. So I want to thank you all for being here and standing with us together.
Thank you, Assemblymember. Next, we have the owner of Pro-Thai Restaurant, Somi Kutita.
Hi, so I'm Somi. I'm the owner of Pro-Thai Restaurant. Last week, my staff got attacked on 106 and Lexington Avenue, and she was like on the way to work. She was like got slapped on her face, and like randomly. So I was like, I know it's very personal right now here, and here trying to raise awareness on this issue, because I feel like our East Harlem community are facing COVID-19 issue right now, and I want to stop Asian hate and stop bullying, discriminating, because it's like a big problem in this country right now. And I want everyone to like start speaking up, listening up, and be quiet, investing, and supporting to each other. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Next, we have my colleague in the New York State Senate, a man who needs no introduction to any place in New York City, someone who stands up whenever any community, whenever any community is attacked, Senator John Liu is there. And we are going to be here with you, John, to make sure that we get this done. Senator John Liu. Thank you, Senator. I am so heartened to see this display of unity. We all understand how heinous hate crimes are. Hate crimes not only injure, maim, and kill people, the victims, but they create a sense of anxiety, of outright fear in an entire community. And worse yet, hate crimes have the extreme potential to divide communities. So terrible in so many different ways, especially as we all continue to confront the coronavirus pandemic. But today, we're standing right here in East Harlem, New York, East Harlem, USA, to say that an attack against one is an attack against all. And this business owner who has established herself and her staff right here in East Harlem cannot be the target of any kind of bigotry or bias or hate. And so we are here to send a very simple but strong and powerful message that we will not allow anybody to be attacked. We will not allow hate crimes to be perpetrated against anybody, recognizing that in this time that we're living in, that Asian Americans have been particularly prone to these types of attacks. A 1,900% increase in 1 year, according to the NYPD. Thousands of documented cases all across the United States, and many, many more without record because of the coronavirus. The correlation is unmistakable. And because the top leadership of this country, which thankfully is no longer the leadership, has continued to talk about this pandemic in racial terms, calling it the China virus or Kung flu, and directing the blame and the hate against people because of the color of their skin or because of the shape of our eyes. That's exactly what it's been about. It is so terrifying to so many people that many Asian Americans, particularly elderly, who have been attacked in numerous times, numerous occasions, don't want to leave their homes to go to the grocery store or to even go to their doctor's appointment. We need to stop this. We need to end this now. So I thank all these leaders for coming out. They take a strong stand with this business owner and this member of the community, a fellow Asian American. And I want to thank Senator Benjamin for always being out there, putting people together, and calling out injustices, which is exactly what this has been. Thank you. Thank you, Senator Liu. Next, we are going to be joined by a Manhattan Borough president who has been a fierce fighter for small business all over Manhattan. And she is a leader who understands how important small businesses are to our community, and the fact that the Asian American community has not only been assaulted with hate crimes, but the businesses have been assaulted as well. She knows this better than anyone else. I give to you the Manhattan Borough President, Gail Brewer.
Thank you very much, Senator Benjamin, and all of the leaders here from the community boards and states and those who care. It's an honor to stand with you. And I'm here like everyone else to condemn hate here in East Harlem, in Chinatown, anywhere, but particularly against Asian Americans. And the bad news is, as many of us stated here today, we have things in East Chinatown and in my case in Holy Square over and over and over again in the last few weeks. So we're here to support the owner of Cotai. The pleasure worker was viciously attacked. We all know, we talk about it, but we have to be clear that restaurant workers are essential workers. They keep us alive, cooking, serving, delivering our food. Guess what? They're our lifeline. No kidding. But the ignorant and armchair people who do not understand what COVID-19 really is, it has given to hateful discrimination. Business boycotts, assault, targeting Asians, and I have to say, picking up on what the senator said, every business is hurting, but you know what, Chinatown and the Asian community there is hurting even more, just because of this hate that we're talking about. The scapegoating of the Asian community because of COVID has fueled these incidents. So when I hear about restaurant workers being attacked, being marginalized, being made to feel like they're not safe in the city, we're all outraged. In fact, the Asian community in general is feeling this way. It must end. Everyone deserves to be safe in our streets, in our parks, in our subways, and on our buses, and in our workplaces. So we're here to stand with Senator Benjamin, Senator Luz, Member Rodriguez, and everyone to show New York that Harlem demands the city actively prevent these crimes against our Asian neighbors. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Adriel. Next, we're going to hear from a staple in the East Harlem community, David Nocenti from Union Settlement House. David?
Good morning, everyone. I'm David Nocenti from Union Settlements, which has been in East Harlem since 1895. I want to first thank Senator Benjamin, Senator Liu, and the Assemblymember Rodriguez, and Borough President Gail Brewer for bringing us here together, and the other colleagues I'm here with. So East Harlem is an immigrant community, and there's been waves and waves of different populations coming through. But I want to talk about what's happening here today, because coronavirus is not the cause of anti-Asian American and Pacific Islander hate crimes. It's the excuse that's being used by those who are already discriminating against this population, which has been discriminated against for years. For the same reason, when you see attacks on African Americans or Hispanics or any other population, no one thinks that Zoe's worker who was on 106th Street and Lexington Avenue somehow caused coronavirus. But that person was attacked. It was a pure hate crime because of the person's background, and it was an excuse for the underlying discrimination that exists in this country. And I am proud to stand with the elected leaders and members of the community here in East Harlem to say it has to stop, and it has to stop now. Thank you very much.
Our public advocate couldn't be here with us today, but he sends his regards, and he also sends the deputy public advocate, Nick Smith, to say a few words on his behalf. Nick Smith.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I'm Nick Smith, the first deputy public advocate representing our city's public advocate, Jamani Williams. I want to thank Senator Benjamin for being a stalwart in this community, along with Senator Rodriguez and our colleagues in government. We are in a crisis. Let's zoom out just for 1 second. There are attacks all across this country against the Asian and Pacific Islander community. If you turn on your Google News, you'll see a couple of things. You'll see in San Francisco, an 84-year-old senior was rammed into by a young man and died the next day from a brain hemorrhage. In New York City, there's been so many attacks. Here, the borough president mentioned, a 36-year-old man was stabbed, blocks from City Hall, blocks from the borough president's office, blocks from the public advocate's office. We are in a crisis. The question is, what are we going to do about it? The first step is actually very simple. And I'm going to steal a line that we often hear in terms of public transit. If you see something, what? Say something. If you see someone under threat or under attack, say something. We've got to hold people accountable. As Senator Benjamin mentioned, a very good point on mental health. We've got to stop stigmatizing seeking mental health treatment.
We've got to shift our mental health response system in a way that deprioritizes police response and sends peers and counselors to help our people who may be experiencing crisis. So with that, I want to add the public advocate's voice. We stand with the East Harlem community. I am a Harlem resident. I'm proud to be here with all of you, and we stand with you now and forever. Thank you all very much.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Nick. Next, our community boards are central to our life here in this city, and we are right now in the jurisdiction of Community Board 11, and they have sent one of their vice chairs, Xavier Santiago. Let's receive him for a few words. Xavier.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I want to say thank you to our senators, Brian Benjamin, Lou, Assemblyman Robert Rodriguez, Gil Brewer, who seems to be everywhere with us fighting on these issues. I call her the mother of Manhattan as we come together. At Community Board 11, we are a village. We are a village of unity. We are a village of strength. What makes us different than any other place in the world is that we come from a melting pot here in this community. And at every stage of the way, we come together. We unite together. I live on 102 between Park and Lex. Rota, I got to say, is one of my son's favorite restaurants. The chicken satay here is fantastic. But I want to tell you something that's more important. At the community board level, we are coming together. We are fighting on these issues all summer. Since the pandemic, we have been out in the street, stopping the spread of misinformation. We welcome you to our board. You can come see us at cb11m.org. Come and attend, raise these issues. Because when you come for one of us, you're coming for all of us. And I want to remind everyone, you've heard some great words of wisdom. They come for one of us, they come for all of us. We unite together. So please, as we go forward, remember that if we are to take that next leap in us as a species, as a city, state, nation, and planet, we have to remember we are more than just tribes. We are one tribe, the human tribe here on this planet. Thank you very much. God bless, and please stay safe.
All right, thank you. So, Stormy, I just want you to know that we have Harlem Chambers comes to Chinatown, Community Board over 3. And he wants to come to some words before we get
Thank you. Good morning. As an Asian American, I do not want your sympathy. I need your action. I need your unity. I need you to speak up when you see an Asian being harassed or to call the police. All these words of sympathy are on the forehead. We need your support. Our business needs your support, not the xenophobia that's prevalent in this country right now. So when you see something, say something. When you see someone like me, looking like me, getting harassed, act. We don't want the words of sympathy, oh, poor fella. That does not help anyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So as we close out, I just want to note that 2 of the candidates for Manhattan District Attorney have joined us. As we know, the Manhattan DA has a very important role to play when it comes to hate crimes and what gets charged. I want to acknowledge Tahani Abushi, and I want to acknowledge Holly Weinstein. Thank you both for doing it. We really appreciate your presence here today. Also, I want to acknowledge our tenant leader, Joanne Lawson from Lakeview, which is nearby. So we really want to closing us off. Given we're here at your restaurant, we think the last word should come from you as a charge for how we should move forward. Thank you again, the owner of Pro Thai Restaurant, Somi Kukita.
Thank you so much, you guys, for having me us here and be part. I'm so grateful to be part of this event because it is so important. This is how we raise awareness of Asian Americans. And I want to say one more thing is that's not the weather has nothing to do with race and ethnicity. That's the thing. So please stop Asian hate. Thank you so much.
Please stop Asian hate. 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 All right. Thank you. Thank you all for coming.
Oh,